And now, introducing the new Sneaky G-Man store on SD. All you got to do, go on to SD, type in Sneaky G-Man store, and you could get your very own Are You My Malacca shirt, Samsung cell phone case, or just a cap or a beanie. Let's go Giants. Ow. Hey guys, I appreciate you wanting to enjoy the show. First, I got to give a couple shout outs. First off, I want to give a shout out to dresscomfy.com. She has the latest and greatest for Sneaky G-Man merch. So please, check it out. dresscomfy.com. Also want to give a shout out to 3 a.m. Water Hydration for the go-getters. Natural spring water. Go get it. Now let's go do the damn thing. Before we do the damn thing, I got to give a shout out to George's Trophies, aka Sergeant M Replica Trophies. Guys, Father's Day coming up soon. This is the perfect gift. Matter of fact, this is the perfect gift for any occasion. I mean, who wouldn't want a replica Super Bowl trophy of their team? The team that got the ultimate prize, the Lombardi Trophy. So when you get a chance, go to his Facebook page, George's Trophies, a.k.a. Sergeant M's Replica Trophies. Now, we gonna do the damn thing.
Oh, no. No.
You're listening to Make It Count, the Sneaky G podcast on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Is this thing on?
It's your boy Stefan, a.k.a. Sneaky G.
Yeah. Lyrical assassin.
Let's go Giants. Ow! What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Stefan, a.k.a. Sneaky G. But, okay, tonight we are... This has been a long time in the making, okay? Long time in the making. And this is going to be a show. I was trying to, share my thing. All y'all know I'm like in 150 giant group things with, giant fans, giant groups. I'm trying to get everybody on here because I want to get this message across one time and one time only. I'm actually, now all of you know that I'm outgoing. I'm rarely ever embarrassed. I encourage people to call me out and, so we could talk about it on the show live. I don't shun away from anything. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now because tonight I'm going to be backtracking on something a lot. And a lot of you don't, a lot of you do know, but I'm sure a lot of you do know, and a lot of you don't know that when I started this journey, I liked every single Giant that came across. There was not one bad Giant except for one. Okay. And he's backstage right now. Now you don't know this, and you guys don't know who I'm talking about here in a second. You don't know this, but I tried before to get you on, like through Twitter. I couldn't get him on Instagram. This was before he started following me. I couldn't get to him then. And the thing is, I'm going to say God is good. Okay. Because when you manifest something, it comes true. Okay. And let me just not waste this guy's time anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring on to you my new bestie, Tiki Barber. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, it's looping. Okay. Sorry, that was a malfunction.
It's all good. What's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on, Tiki? How you doing?
I'm good. It's weird when you call yourself Stefan.
Right.
It doesn't register to me. Like, who is he talking about?
Obviously, you're one and only. Before you start talking, I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you're a busy man. Okay. And guys, please start pouring in the love, and I'll do my best to get everybody's post out there. Matter of fact, what I'm going to start doing now, before I even get started, let me put the link out. So later on, now we got to get some stuff out the way. You guys can join and you can ask Tiki some questions. Okay, let me get a sip of water real quick. Okay. Before we get started, all right. Prior to us meeting, right? You know how I felt towards you before we met, for reasons we're not going to cross that bridge. You know why, right?
Yeah, I know.
And I tried to, somehow try to get a hold of you, try to talk, through social media,
Yeah, I mostly ignore social media until
I don't blame you. I don't
call me Tiki anymore. I don't call you Stefan. You don't call me Tiki. I call you Sneaky. You call me Bestie.
Exactly. That's true. That's very true. Yes. And so before we had our conversation, which I'm going to get into quickly, I didn't hate you because I didn't know you, but at the time you weren't my favorite Giant. Okay. And and we discussed why, right?
Yep.
And it's weird how things happen. Okay. Because I wanted this to happen a long time ago. I'm on episode 184. Can you believe that? 184 right now. And the number's probably higher because I probably have like 21s, couple, double digits, copied numbers, if you will, but different numbers. Anyway, I'm rambling and I need to get back to what I want to talk to you about, what I want to say. I want to officially apologize to everything that I said in the past. Now, I didn't make it personal, right?
It's never personal. It could be personal. You didn't know me.
I didn't know you. So, whatever, it was on the field more so than anything else. And I apologize for what I said. Or no, not because I even told you when we met, I was very critical of you. Every time your name got brought up, I'm like, whatever. But I now notice I said but, so that negated everything I just said.
Yeah, it's all good.
I officially take back, guys, you hear me on here. I take back every negative thing I said about you.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do. It means a lot, especially after I met you and realized how passionate you are about this Giant thing.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah, because you know, Sneak, I grew up a Redskins fan.
Right, so yes.
Becoming a Giants fan, it took a little something. And it was really like that first time I played the Redskins and I really hated them.
Right.
I got over it real quick. But to have the fandom that you have, I mean, that's a blessing, bro. Even from afar, you're down in evil Dallas.
I'm in Dallas. Yeah. And it's funny.
You still rock it.
Every day
you wear that championship ring, that NFC championship ring more than I do.
I'm gonna put it on right now just for you. I'm gonna put it on right now.
I love it,
and I wear it with pride. I actually, speaking of this championship ring here. Well, okay, those that don't know, I met Tiki back in the training camp, the beginning of this year, and it's funny how that story happened. Okay. I got VIP tickets. I'm not going to tell anybody how I got them because it's in the name right here. How I got it. How I got it. And I'm walking because you got to walk through that little big tent because you get the VIP tent where you get the water and it's air conditioned. I'm going around the grass and I hear a familiar voice. and the funny Mama Boss, you remember my wife, Mama Boss,
yeah.
She was like, because she knew, she already knew.
She told you, don't go over there.
Well, she didn't. She knew I was going to go over there regardless because it was going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
She was like, oh, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, okay, all right, let's do this. And the first thing right when I said, okay, let's do this, I knew if I didn't, my best friend Ant, who you met, I was like, if I don't talk to you, I will never hear the end of it from him. And then at the same time, I thought once we make amends, everybody's gonna call me out of my show. I remember I said that to you. Yeah. And like, oh, now you like T, blah blah blah. And I got to end it with this because we got a few things I want to get out the way, and then I know there's a lot of people that want to talk to you.
Yeah, man.
By
the way, Ant always had my back.
He did. Oh, every time I brought you up, and actually, on a side note, there was one time I want to say I was talking to a former giant. I can't remember who it was, and I was going to say something, and he was like, "Don't." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." I'm not going to say who. You could watch all 184 of these episodes, and you find out. He was like, "Don't do it. Let it go." And I'm like, "All right, fine." And I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did because of this moment. You talked with me for 30 it was like 30 plus minutes because you were even running late to your show. Yeah. Because of our conversation.
That's right. But it was worth it, man. I enjoy interesting and compelling conversation. Like the accolades all the time, that gets bored. I like to be challenged, that.
Right. And you could have easily dismissed me. Mm-hmm. You could have easily been like, all right, bro, you don't like me. You got something you want me to sign? What do you want? What do you want from me? No. Because see, I hope you realize this of me. I'm the type of person, if I have a problem, I'm going to give you a solution. I'm not going to say to you, hey, there's a light bulb out. I'm gone. No, I got a light bulb out. I got another one here. Let's put it, So when I came to you, I said, my favorite giant, and here's why. And you were like, okay, that's exactly what you said. I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay. And we started talking. And I remember saying to you, I was like, I'm surprised you didn't take a swing at me. You're like, no.
No, man. No. I don't like the fight.
No, I don't either.
A good running back. I didn't like contact.
Okay. So we got all that stuff out the way. We're besties now. And I hope those that are watching now or later on, I will no longer talk negatively about Tiki Barber.
I appreciate you, brother.
And I appreciate you. And I will now defend you like I do every giant that they talk. I had Daniel Jones's back. I have Eli's back about the Hall of Fame. And that's something I want to mention about you too. I wonder why you haven't got, but okay, we'll talk about
it's hard for running backs, bro. I just did a dig on this because my brother's up for it this year,
Yeah.
And he's a finalist. So we'll find out soon here. But I just did a dig on running backs. There's no love for running backs, bro.
I don't get it. The wear and tear that it puts on you
was 2017. Almost 6 years ago, and there's no finalist. I don't think there's been a finalist running back in the last couple of years since.
Who's the last running back to get in? Refresh my memory. Was it Emmett?
The last one to get in was why am I forgetting? Edgerrin James.
Oh, that's right.
James, back in 2017.
Oh, that's right.
There's only been 4 in the last 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got to change that. Yeah. I started a hashtag of let Phil Sims in, let Phil in the hall. So I'm going to do another one, hashtag let Tiki in. Word. So real quick. All right. So this week, this is the bye week of the Super Bowl. Okay. Now you actually played in a Super Bowl. Yeah. What was it? Super Bowl 35.
35.
I know we won't talk about the game. We just want to talk about the preparation. And Anyway,
I forgot what happened in that game.
I don't know. I haven't even got over it yet. And it was
man.
like we said before, it was like 20 some years. Okay. So this week and the following week, what was the preparation like for you and the Giants?
Yeah, it's interesting because I can contrast this with my twin brother who played in the Super Bowl 2 years after I did with Tampa. And obviously, everybody remembers they destroyed the Oakland Raiders in that Super Bowl. And we were just literally talking about this about a week ago. The difference between my Super Bowl and his Super Bowl, theirs was successful, is that they knew that they were going to win, right? It wasn't like they were preparing harder. It was like inevitable to them because in their mind, they had a team that they knew could beat anybody. Didn't matter who they were playing. They had a top, 5 all-time defense.
Well, they were playing the number 1 offense too.
Yes, exactly. They had a really good offense, even though it was Brad Johnson at quarterback. They moved the ball all over the place, and Keyshawn Johnson was a big part of their scheme. But they just knew that they could beat anybody because back then defense carried and it traveled. And I kind of was thinking about to our weeks leading up because that was the first year that they went to 2 weeks was our year. And it almost gave us too much time to think about it because we were rolling. If anybody remembers that 2000 season, that was the Jim Fossil. I'm pushing my chips into the center of the table.
Yes.
And we had lost to the Detroit Lions. I mean, it was bad. Like he was getting fired.
12-4, right?
We
went 12-4 that season. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he throws that speech and we just kept winning, right? We just rolled everybody and get to the NFC Championship game. We beat the Minnesota Vikings 41-0. Like we think we can't lose against anybody. But the reality is that we didn't know how good the Baltimore Ravens team was. And so Rondé's mentality, like we're supposed to win versus ours, like, oh man, we're happy to be here type of thing. It was different. And when we got hit in the face, we didn't know how to respond. And so, and not to mention the lead up to that Super Bowl was crazy. I mean, I remember getting interview requests from like Japan. And it was the first time I realized how like worldwide this Super Bowl is. Not necessarily the NFL, not at that time, because we weren't playing international games, but how worldwide the Super Bowl is. And it gets like overwhelming. So it's the teams that handle that the best are the ones that usually come out on top.
So now, what I don't like, what people do, right? If they were to introduce you, like, you know how they do that little side thing with the resume, they talk about your accolades and then they say Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
Listen, you won the conference. They should put NFC conference champion.
I agree with that, by the way, because that's an accomplishment.
That's a huge accomplishment.
It is. I mean, there's 2 teams left, and we're one of them.
Well, not only that, if you look at Takeo Spikes, never played a playoff game.
That's right.
Not one. And here you are, and this will lead into my next question. So that being said, why is the NFC or the conference ring treated as a quote unquote loser ring? And I hope it doesn't sound like a stupid question.
No, it's funny because you asked me this when we met. You're like, where's your conference championship ring? I'm like, dude, I haven't seen that thing.
And you're like, I don't know. It's way down in the basement. It's like, actually, you're like, hey, remember John Wick when he put concrete underneath? That's where it's at. It's under the no. Like, I don't understand I get it. You didn't win the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying you per se, but, you know, the team didn't win the Super Bowl, a major accolade. However, you did win something huge. And something that you can brag to your friends or whatnot, you know, hey, I may not have won the game, but I got a ring.
Yeah. And by the way, it was an epic game, right?
Oh,
it was the game of games. Like we destroyed Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper. And I think Chris Carter was on that
Chris
team.
Chris Carter was there too.
The crap out of him.
And you were talking. Go ahead.
You said this real quick, Sneaky. You said this when you put on that ring. It's actually more wearable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy. It's not crazy. I might actually I gotta go find mine. I'm gonna start rocking mine. Next time I shout you out on WFAN, I'm gonna have that ring on. It's gonna be
and give me a shot. I'll be like, hey, you I told you so. Just tell me. And actually, it's a beautiful ring.
It is. It is beautiful. It's like giant blue. It pops.
Yes.
Like
look, I mean, it's like
right? It doesn't have like all those crazy diamonds in a Super
No,
Bowl.
I mean,
It's obviously not the same accomplishment, but it's still a big deal.
no, it's an accomplishment. And I just don't understand why. And I'm not saying you, I'm just saying like, if because now keep in mind, I'm on the outside looking in, right? And if I was like, I don't know, if I was a part of the Giants, and it have to be the Giants, because that's the only one I would rock. But out of all, I mean, the Super Bowl rings are beautiful, but the conference ring, oh my God. Now,
yeah. But by the way, that's why I think it's hard for Giants to wear it, because the Giants have been to 5, and the only one they
yes,
didn't win was that one. And so, unless you were on that specific team, then and you were on some of the other ones as well, or you're in the organization, you'd rather wear the Super Bowl ring, right? So,
right.
I think that's why it gets overlooked in a lot of cases. Like if we were the Jets, like my partner's favorite team on Brandon Tierney's favorite team
Right.
on my radio show, and they had a conference championship, I'm sure those guys would wear it because they haven't had that championship since 1969. So,
but also keep in mind, we haven't been back at that time since 90.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, it was some years,
Yeah.
Between 1990 and then some up and downs to get to that point with Kerry Collins, yourself. Now, and I'm going to put you on the spot on this.
All right.
If you want to say pass, you can say pass.
I'll never say pass.
I know. I just want to give you that option. Okay, and the Baltimore Ravens, let's give them their flowers. That defense, that 2000 defense, geez.
Yeah,
rest in peace, Saragusa,
Sam Adams,
Ray Lewis. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Jamie Sharper.
The Hall of Famer, Trent Dilfer. Say what?
Jermaine Lewis, Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
All those guys.
And the quarterback guru, Trent Dilfer. What could we have done, or what player could have helped us out? Like if we had to pluck somebody on that team. I know if it's a hard question, like I said, you can say pass. Well, because you may need more time.
It's not a hard question. So if you remember the circumstances of that game, it was a perfect example of momentum not going our way, because Jesse Armstead intercepted a screen pass and took it back for a touchdown. It would have made it the halftime score like 10-7.
Right.
And instead, Keith Hamilton got called for a holding because he tackled the running back on the ball fake, and Trent Dilfer threw it anyways. Jesse picked it off and returned it for a touchdown, but it got called back. And the momentum, we never got momentum again. And the reason we didn't is because we came out of halftime realizing that we couldn't do what we were good at, which is run the football and run to the edges and misdirection. You remember that offense was thunder and lightning. It was like all these different things, schemes that we had. We couldn't do them because Ray was unblockable, because Tony Saragusa was 370, and I'm not even joking, and Sam Adams was 358. Right. So there's like almost literally 700 pounds in the middle of that defensive line. We couldn't get up to Ray. And so we came out thinking, well, let's just throw the ball all around the field. Like we have good wide receivers. We have good, Ike and Amani and myself out of the backfield. Joe Jaravicius was on that team. Let's just throw the ball around. Well, the problem is they were smart, the Ravens. And when we started doing that, they started changing up the defensive scheme at the snap of the ball. So Kerry would say cover two safeties.
Right.
As soon as he snapped the ball, look down and get the ball, he'd come up and there'd be one safety and there'd be a guy, an extra defender in the box. And he threw 4 or 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
So it was not really a guy that would have changed anything. We should have just stuck with what we did. Right, we should have just kept trying to run the ball, even if it was unsuccessful.
At halftime, it was 17-7, right?
Yeah. But right after, because we returned the kickoff, but then Jermaine Lewis turned the subsequent kickoff. So it just got away from us. Once we started turning the ball over, it got away from us. We needed to slow play it. Right, it's hard to just sit back and slow play a game, which is interesting. What this Giants team, this 2022 Giants team, that's what they do. They slow play a game. Like if they get behind, they just keep slow playing.
Yes.
And eventually they're going to get a turnover. They're going to cause a mistake. They're going to make their own play, and they're back in the game, and they come back and win it. We got impatient. And
they wear them out. They wear the team out.
Bad stuff happens.
Yeah. Okay, and here's another hot one, and then I'm going to bring some Giant fans on here.
Cool.
In your career, I mean, you carried the ball it was like 320 plus times.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my '05 season, I had 411 touches. That was just a crazy number of touches. It's a lot.
Hold on a sec. And wait, how many touches? Your what?
So I had like 300 and I want to say 30 or 20 something rushes, but I caught like 70 passes.
Oh, yeah, reception. Yes.
Yeah. So I had like over 400 touches, which is a lot.
Yeah, you have over, because you have 55 rushing touchdowns, 12 reception touchdowns.
Yep.
10,449 yards. I remember, I think it was Arizona, and you reverse field.
Yeah, that was 2000. That was that first game of Thunder.
Yeah.
Right now.
You reverse field, and I'm gonna be honest, I was like, where's he going? And then I'm like, okay, no, he's good. Everybody, and I'm the only one in the house, by the way. So, and I'm not gonna be here talking about. Remember that one time you cut that touchdown pass? I'm not gonna do that all night to you. I could easily.
It's all good. That's what this is about, man. You're a fan, brother.
Well, you know. And by the way, thank you for signing that belt too. By the way, I got it back over here.
My pleasure.
So you had Danny Cannell, Dave Brown, Kerry Collins, even Kurt Warner. A lot of people would forget.
Yeah, people thought he was washed, but he actually still had a lot left in the tank.
Oh yeah, he took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then you had Eli Manning. Okay, here's a tough one. You ready?
Yep.
Who threw the hardest?
KC. Kerry Collins had a cannon. He had a really slow release. Like if you think about it and you remember, he had this like long wind up.
Yeah.
But once his elbow got forward, that thing was coming. And so it's why sometimes he got in trouble with interceptions, because he would telegraph it. So if he was a half a second late, it was going to get picked off. But if he was on time, like he got to his steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that ball was coming out, you couldn't defend it. Eli was just savvy, right? He was like, you remember that Super Bowl year, actually the second Super Bowl year with Hakeem Nicks. Like he would throw some balls that looked like, what in the hell is he doing? And it would just drop right into the breadbasket.
And
he was very savvy with understanding like spatial difference and making a throw hit exactly where it was supposed to do. He didn't have a cannon for an arm, but it was timing. Like smart quarterbacks can get away with not having great arms, right? Joe Montana didn't have a huge arm.
No, but he had that accuracy.
Right on the money. At the end, Peyton Manning didn't have a big arm, but it was all timing. Let's tell Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but it's all about precision and timing and being right where you're supposed to be at the right times. So that's why Eli was so good in critical moments, because his heart was slow and he would make a throw that was precise, even if it didn't look impressive, so to speak.
Right. So obviously, I'm starstruck right now. Now, for you, in your career in the NFL, and this is about my last question. I'll start bringing some people on. What player did you meet, active or not, that you're like, oh snap, he's right here?
Yeah. I mean, the obvious one is the legend, Jim Brown, because that dude just had a presence, right? It made me realize like what a superstar athlete is like, because the way he carried himself, and obviously I knew his political history as well, but his on-field history he could have been the greatest ever, but he left because he wanted to do other things. Right. Get into acting. I think it was likely a money thing. They didn't want to pay him. And so he was like, I'm going to go do other stuff. And he never came back to it. But the way he carries himself is just, if you feel his presence in a room. And like a side answer to that, the one person I regret never getting a chance to meet was Walter Payton. So I grew up a humongous Walter Payton fan, Sneaky. I wanted to be Walter Payton because he wasn't that big, but he could do everything. He was a good receiver. He could play quarterback if you need him to. He was a great runner, ran hard, even though his ball security was terrible. He carried it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
But he died. Like when I got into the league and probably could have like got in front of him in some capacity, he ended up getting liver cancer and ended up passing away. And so I never got a chance to meet him. That's the one guy that I would have killed to have met.
For me, I honestly, any Giant that I grew up with, like yourself, of course, in the back, Phil Simms.
Yep.
That's
who did you meet first? Like, who made you a Giant fan? I'm curious about this.
Phil Simms, actually. Phil Simms. The very first Giants game I ever watched was the 1986 Super Bowl. I remember watching that with my dad, and he hated Elway. He hated Elway, and he wanted this linebacker by the name of Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, got it.
To just take him out the game. Just take him out the game, LT. You don't deserve. And at first, I wanted to be the next LT. But there's just one thing regarding defense. Oh, I'm trash. I can't be a linebacker. I don't like to hit, and I can't be a down lineman because the guards would just run over me.
Yeah.
So when I was so the quick story about me in 5th grade, I said I was looking at some cards, and I came across the 1990 score card of Phil Simms. And to me, it's just like the perfect form of a quarterback. And I'm like, I want to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And that's where I throw the football. And I mean, I played high school football, quarterback, and then I went to Germany. So we could talk about my accolades later. Because I
just love your fandom, dude. Like it's like, I mean, I meet humongous Giants fans, but not like you, bro.
You know, that's an honor. That's an honor coming from you.
Serious. Like every time I see you, it's Giants laden. Now maybe that's intentional, but I think it's real. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't know anything else. Now, I just when Phil Simms left in '93, and there was a time. Now I lived in Arizona. I'm not even from Jersey. I had some friends ask me, "So what are you going to do?" Phil's the talk was he was going to be a Cardinal.
Yeah. And
he was like, "Well, you know," everybody's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I've been a Giants fan all this long. I'm not just going to jump on another team. I'll root for Phil, but I got to stick with my team."
No doubt.
And that's when Dave Brown was there. And I remember, you know, we went 3-0 in 97. No, it wasn't 97. It was 93, 3-0. And then we lost like 7 games straight. And then we came up with, we almost made the playoffs that year.
That's right.
Almost made that playoffs. But yeah, that's how I became a Giants fan. And then, of course, every jersey, and also a McNair. I'm a big Steve Aaron McNair fan, to the late great McNair.
Yeah, and he rests in peace too.
Yes. And the first Giant that I actually brought on the show and I talked to was was it Brandon? Yeah, it was Brandon London.
Nice.
And that's where I said, you know what? Had I known I can talk to a Giant by just having a podcast, I'd have done this back in the 90s. You know, I've been doing this for 20 some years. Yeah, that's how diehard. You know, just a diehard fan, and I never wavered. Matter of fact, I'll never forget in '98 when we beat the Broncos. That was the only, and I'll confess this to you, that was the only time where I'm like, ooh, we may not. I'm like, we'll beat them by a field goal, but you know, Monty Toomer
got a Monty Toomer catch.
Yeah, at the back of the end zone. I was in the barracks. I mean, it's funny, like all these moments. I just remember where I was at.
Yeah,
because like, matter of fact. I don't know if I should bring this up. Was it 99? What was it when they did the passing interference on the lineman when they against San Francisco?
Oh, that was 2003.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because I remember it was. I remember that.
Yeah,
and I remember Fossil the next day they came back and said he was like, because they were like, oh, the NFL did declare that being a passing interference.
Yeah.
What good is that going to do me now?
Yeah, that was Richie Soyberg, who declared himself eligible, tight end eligible. And by the way, he played tight end in college, Richie did, even though he played guard for us. He released when he saw the ball, and they called a legal man downfield as opposed to pass interference.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Nonsense. I mean, we deserve to lose that game, to be honest with
Well,
you.
yeah.
We were up
Well,
by
you
24.
know, yeah. We and I'm going to disagree. We should have won that game. Period.
Oh, we should
Because of
have.
that call, we should have.
Oh,
And then we would.
we should have ran away. We should have
Hey,
beat them by 40, Sneaky.
I know that's true, right? And then
We were up by 24.
let me bring some people on. I'm having a good time. This is a blast, Tiki. So I have a gentleman here. He officially made me global. Okay. He's from Australia. He's called the Aussie Giant.
Okay.
I call him the Thunder from Down Under. Now, there's no reason behind it. It's just he's from Down Under, and let me just stop because I'm just digging myself a hole. Elliot.
Hey, what's up?
G'day. Holy shit, I can't believe I'm talking
And,
to Tiki
and
Barber
he's
right now.
he's on his lunch break right now, so I had to get him in.
Go
ahead, man. What do you got to ask Tiki?
Tiki, it is an absolute honor of mine to first of all meet you, say hello to you. Like, I am starstruck right now.
I appreciate you.
One of the first questions, you played under some great coaches, Coach Fassel, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Coach Coughlin. What did you see this year out of Brian Daboll that you had seen
that's a good one.
out of some of the previous coaches that you played under?
Yeah, it's such a great question, man. And I also played for Coach George Welsh at UVA, who was a great mentor of mine, and he was old school military guy. So it was somewhat familiar when Coach Coughlin came in, and it was all about discipline and doing the little things to make yourself better. And honestly, as much as I love Jim was my heart. He's like family to me. I got good because Coach Coughlin held me accountable to everything, like all the little things about my game. I got great because of him. Now, one of the things, so I've gotten to know Brian Daboll pretty well over the last year or so. And the thing that I love most about him, he's real, right? He doesn't sugarcoat or bullshit you. Like he's telling you exactly what he's feeling. Like he's emotional, wears his emotions on his sleeve, so you see it right away. But he's also going to encourage you at the same time. You remember what game was this that Darius Slayton dropped? Was it Minnesota? Was it Minnesota?
Minnesota playoff game, yeah.
Darius Slayton dropped that pass. Like he was pissed. Like you could see he was pissed. But 2 minutes later, he's over there like consoling him. And so I think there's an authenticity that you can't fake that he has. The other thing is, and I've said this to BT, my co-host on my radio show often, Brian Daboll is like Bill Belichick, except he's likable. If you listen to his press conferences, he says nothing. Nothing. Daniel Jones throws for 280 something yards and rushes for 70. They beat the Minnesota Vikings on the road in the wild card game. And they asked him,
he played good.
What's he did? It was good. We got to get ready for Philly. Right? He's Belichick, but he's got a personality and he's likable. And I think it's because he's not afraid to show his emotions, which makes him real to people. I think one of the hardest things for me on a personal level, not on a coaching level, on a personal level with Coach Coughlin, is that I never felt like he was real with us. Right? I always felt like he was just coach. I'm always coach. I'm always coach. I'm always coach. Not, this is who I am. This is why you should trust me. This is, tell me about your kids, your family. Like it wasn't any of that. It was just coach. And I think Brian Daboll has a perfect mix. And it's why these guys, even when they have issues, remember Tay Crowder, and I forget one of the DBs, they were bitching and moaning about the playing time. That went away like that. Like,
yeah,
you heard it one day story. It was a one-day story, which is rare in today's NFL. So I think his control and realness with the locker room is something that you can't replicate or discount.
Well, I mean, he also was released and then got put back on the practice
squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, that has to tell you something. Of
course. I mean, look, it's accountability, and it's not
Yeah.
just accountability about what's happening on the field on a Sunday. It's accountability in what you're saying to the media, how you're affecting this locker room, how you're helping or encouraging your team. Like it's all of that, and it's real.
Elliot, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man. I was just down your way, brother. I was down in New Zealand for a wedding that I was officiating about a month ago, a little less than a month ago. It was a long flight.
Yeah,
Wait,
it
you were-
is. I'm aiming to come to a home game in September when the new season rolls around. So
Nice.
I'm not keen.
Nice.
I'm not keen on that big flight. I've done it before. It's
Yeah, exactly.
it's very long,
Well,
but
travel
I'm
safe
keen
when
to
you
get
come
there.
next season.
you got to let me know when you get here too, man.
Yeah. Once the
Let me know.
schedule comes out, Sneaky, you'll be the first one I hit up.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, we actually do a couple we call them overtime shows, like Friday nights. We do about an hour. And Elliot, all the way from Australia. Now you say I'm a dedicated fan. This guy wakes up at like 2 a.m. just to watch the football game.
3 a.m. Yeah, 3
Oh,
a.m.
yeah. So I think I'm going to thank you for the compliment, Tiki, but I'm going to give him,
Yeah, right. Respect.
I'm giving him that because
everyone likes to have, what's their go-to meal. Some have a beer and some ribs or steak or whatever. My go-to meal is some Vegemite on toast with a nice coffee in the morning as I'm watching the Giants.
I gotta have to try that.
Hey, Elliot, I appreciate you, man. Let me hear it one time.
Sneaky, I appreciate the opportunity for this. Tiki, it was an absolute honor. Thank you so much. And let's go Giants. Ow!
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Ant, you got to hold on 1 second. I want to get Gabe in here.
Yo, what's up, Tiki?
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you, an honor to meet you. I do some content on Instagram, Giants news and stuff. I watch you on WFAN all the time on YouTube.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate
So I
it.
love what you're doing, and of course, I have a couple questions if you don't mind if I ask them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what person, trainer, friend, family member, coach helped you get to becoming the all-time Giants leading rusher the most? Like, who do you give the most credit for getting you there?
Well, there was two guys. There was one that was a coach, Gerald Ingram, who was my running back coach when Coughlin came in, because he taught me the mechanics of carrying the ball. You guys remember how I was carrying the ball at the end. He changed me mechanically. It was a physical issue that I was having, and he was able to change me. And so going into contact, covering the wrist, going to the ground just like this all the time, it cut down on all the fumbles. And honestly, it made me a more compact runner, which I think made me more explosive. But I mean, a lot of the credit goes to my strength trainer who just passed away about a year ago. His name was Joe Carini. And when I started working with him, I mean, I was strong, but I wasn't powerful. I wasn't explosive. Yeah. And over the course of a couple of years, what he called me is Carini proof. Like, I couldn't get hurt because I was layers of muscles. I mean, I'm in good shape now. I'm about 190 pounds. When I was playing, I would go into camp at 212, and it was just like sheets of muscle on me. And so I always felt powerful and strong. And the reason that my last 3 years, partly because of coaching with Coughlin and Gerald Ingram, were equal in yardage to my first 7 was because I was just stronger. Like, most guys don't get stronger as they get older, but I had as many rushing yards those last 3 as I did my first 7. And a lot of it's because of the coaching, but also because of Joe Carini. Man,
I was just gonna ask about that. I see that your stats were actually like your best in your end in the end.
Yeah.
Later
Which
years.
is why a lot of people question why I retired and when I did. But I mean, to be honest, as Sneaky and I were just talking about, I had a lot of carries, and I could just feel it. Like, it
wears down on you,
Yeah, well, there were games in 05, which was my best season, where, I mean, as soon as I got in the open field, I knew I was gone, right? I was like, it doesn't matter who's there.
You were on special teams at
slowly,
first, right?
I started feeling those runs go from like 60, 50-yard touchdowns to like a 25, 30-yard run, right? It just, which is still good, but I could feel it. I could feel the toll starting to happen on me. And I remember when we played the Eagles in 06, Jeremiah Trotter just kicked my ass. Like, I mean, just wore me out. And I couldn't get out of bed and really move until Thursday comfortably. Yeah. And I just knew, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I mean, I could be good, but I don't want to do this anymore. And as soon as that want leaves your mind, you just can't do it anymore. I mean, some guys just hang on and collect the paycheck and, do it. But I didn't want to be that guy.
You also did special teams for a little bit, right? Like, I mean,
I did it for most of my career, Sneak. I returned punts until I think my last 2 years. I think I returned punts all the way up until 05. So, and I love that. I love being a specialist. because it was, to me, it's just another opportunity to get the ball in my hands and do something.
Yeah. And another question I have for you.
I fully believe that kick returners and punt returners need to be running backs, right? You usually see wide receivers back there, but
Or
they
cornerbacks.
need to be running backs and corners, but they need to be running backs because running backs are the only ones that know how to take hits. And so when you see a punt returner or a kick returner get like a little clip in his leg and he goes down, it just drives me insane. It's like that's a tackle you should run through, and only running backs can do that.
Well, no, I'm saying like I don't. And the only question I would have, not for you, but when we put Dory Jackson back there, at punt return.
Oh my gosh! Don't remind me.
Well, I mean, because I had a flashback of Jason Sehorn. I mean, that year he got hurt on there, and
DBs. Everybody wants to be Dion, Sneaky. Everybody wants to be Dion, right? But let's think about this logically. How many times is a cornerback carrying a ball, avoiding contact?
Right.
Never.
Right.
And the only reason they did it was because of the Richie James like horrendous game he had in Seattle where he put 2 on the ground. And so again, find a running back to return punts and kickoffs.
They could have put Gary Brightwell back there, punt returner.
Seriously, you should. Now I don't know if he's ever returned punts, but
he does the kick returns. I know they're 2 different things, but he does the kick returns.
Teach him.
Yeah, teach him.
I appreciate you, man.
Thanks
for coming on.
Pleasure to meet you. It's an honor to talk to you live here. So thank you for that.
Appreciate you.
If you want to stick around in the backstage, you could do that too.
All right.
Let me hear it one time, Gabe.
Let's go Giants. Ow!
I appreciate you.
Good voice. He could be a radio host,
right? Oh my Big Blue Feed.
What up?
It's been a while since I've seen you, Sneaky. Actually, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. And yes, I am still slinging that rock.
Still slinging that rock. I saw your post on Instagram, actually. So
yes, and we got a tournament in May, but I actually have a tournament in 2 weeks that I'll be playing. It's called the Love of the Game, and I already got my team ready to go. He also plays football, and I was bragging one night of how I played football, and every time he sees me, he always asks me to let him know that I'm slinging that rock. So Big Blue Feed, he's also on Instagram as well. What question you have for Tiki?
Well, first of all, it's a great honor to meet you and talk to you live on this. It really is.
Appreciate it.
But I guess one of the questions I have is who on the current Giants team right now from last year, who do you think has I mean, I guess the brightest future ahead of them on the team?
Well, I mean, to me, it's obviously Saquon if he stays and Daniel Jones, but an under the radar guy is Isaiah Hodgins.
Now, yes,
I think he's very.
He was here for 6 games, I believe. He led the team in touchdown receptions with 5. That's including the playoffs, and. I didn't realize how good he was until I went back and watched, because I call games for CBS. I have this True Media Network, so I can go back and watch every game. So I just went back and watched his routes. He runs great routes. Now he's not a blazer, but I mean he had Patrick Peterson on skates both times that he played him, and Patrick Peterson is going to be a Hall of Famer. Right, the kid is big, so he's a good red zone target. And look, they're going to draft guys. They're going to bring in free agents to fill that wide receiver void for Daniel. But Isaiah Hodgins is a guy I really found an affinity for because of how reliable he is. Right, he's not afraid to take hits. He'll go across the middle. He'll catch those slants, knowing he's going to get banged. I think he's got a really bright future.
So what I noticed about Hodges was the Detroit game where he fumbled the ball.
Yeah,
and he was down on himself.
Yeah,
we can both agree that we are our own worst critic. Because not only did we have a negative effect on a play, but that effect cost us a game. And I saw that he was on the bench, and you could just see him just being down on himself. Ever since then, he was balling.
Yeah.
And that turned to be one of my son, Nick. That's one of my son's favorite players.
Yeah.
Because one, he picked him up on his fantasy team, but 2, I mean, he went off after that drop.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it shows you resiliency.
yes,
Right? You know,
yes.
I mean, it's funny. It's like they've done so many studies on like kids who go to college, and this isn't athletes. This is just general like kids that go to college, and it's not always the kids that make the straight A's and it comes easy for them that succeed and stay in school and end up doing great things afterwards. It's those kids that fail but keep trying. Like those are the ones that ultimately are going to succeed in life. And it certainly applies to football. I mean, hell, that was me. I mean, Sneaky, you know my history. Like earlier in my career, they were trying to replace me every year. I mean, Sean Bennett, Joe Montgomery. They brought in Gary Brown. May he rest in peace too. He passed away recently as well. They drafted Ron Dane, but you know, it motivated me and it made me want to work harder as opposed to getting pissed off and complaining about playing time. You just work. And Isaiah Hodgins seems like he's that kind of kid, just going to work.
I mean, perseverance is key with all of it. Pushing through the hard times and making yourself like better out of certain situations. So, I actually ordered a Hodgins jersey after that one game too.
Nice.
Hey, big blue feet. I appreciate you. I got to get to some other people, but you can stay in the backstage. You don't have to go anywhere. Let me hear it one time.
I will say it was a great honor meeting you and talking to you, Tiki. It really, really is.
Thank you.
Let's go Giants. Ow.
Appreciate you. Yes, everybody says that.
Let's go Giants. Ow!
Everybody. I don't care what team you're on, you're gonna say it. If you're on this show, you're gonna say anyway. DZ.
Yo, what's up, Tiki?
What's up?
Hold on one second.
Meet you.
So I got some. Okay, Tiki. As you know, you are not the only one that's susceptible to trolls. Okay.
Okay.
I got a troll on here right now, and I'm not going to put his comment up. I'm just going to do this. Just get rid of him. So he was actually making comments about me, but then he made a comment about you, and I told you on the phone, I take full responsibility, and I'm gonna defend you.
I feel
and
you.
So yeah,
appreciate you.
I didn't even put it up there, so he's gone. I'm sorry, DZ. Go ahead.
No, so Tiki, it's nice to meet. And one of my questions, I know you love Jeter. You looked up to him. I saw, one of my questions is, what did you take from Jeter? Like, what'd you take from Jeter and you put into your mind and put it onto the field?
Wow, that's a good one.
Derek is the man, and I still go to his golf tournament that he has every year for his foundation, his Turn 2 Foundation. I think the thing that I take most from Derek is his professionalism and how he carries himself. Like there's a humility that you have to have, no matter how good you are at what you do. And if you don't have it, right, people will root against you, right? Even if Derek wasn't, the greatest athlete or the great whatever, if you wanted to root for him because he was always genuine, but he always felt like, I just doing my best. Yeah, I'm just doing my best, right? Derek, you just made this unbelievable play. You anticipated an overthrow and caught it and flipped it backwards to the catcher, right? Yeah, it's just doing what I was taught to do, right? I think the way he carries himself is something that I always wanted to emulate. And it's interesting because, I mean, Sneaky maybe doesn't know this because he's down in Dallas too much, but New York is a baseball town. And I can remember like Septembers and Octobers where I have these great games and the Yankees will be on the back page. And I'd be like, are you kidding? But so I almost couldn't help but see him and see how he carried himself. And that annoyed some people because he was kind of like, he never said anything, but you still knew what he meant. So I loved his humility, despite being one of the greatest players in the history of the game.
He's on MLB Show 23 now too, cover.
Yeah, that's right. I just saw that today.
Yeah,
well, DZ, I appreciate you, man. Let me
thank you, DZ.
Let me hear it one time.
Bye, Tiki. Bye, Sneaky. I'll see you next Thursday. Oh, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yes, sir.
Let's go Giants. Ow.
Appreciate you. Danny.
Man, it's an honor.
What's up, Danny?
Tiki, just so you know, this guy is the best dressed of
Oh,
this
stop.
show.
Oh,
I
stop.
try and
Oh,
compete. I
stop.
try and
Dude,
compete
I
with
love that
him.
lid, bro.
He's being modest. Come on now. Man, I tell you, it's an honor, man. I missed 21 running that rock on that Giants field
Thank
for
you,
sure.
bro.
You were a
Thank
beast. You were a
We
beast.
got
brother.
one in the end zone, you know.
Yep.
Landon, he picked one off, went to the house.
I got you.
Yes,
I
he
got you
did.
for sure. For sure. Listen, I got 2-part question.
Go ahead.
What was what's your favorite moment as a New York Giant?
Mhm.
2, me and Sneaky hate the Cowboys for sure. We despise them. We loathe them. Oh, you too. Thank you.
I had a feeling he was going to go with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Dude,
much.
I'm a double hater. You know I grew up a Redskins fan, bro.
Oh,
I'm a double hater.
no. But the second question is, who did you like playing against more in the NFC East on your time?
So I'll ask the second one first. It was always the Eagles.
Okay.
Mainly because of the proximity. So I felt like there are parts in Jersey where it just kind of becomes like half blue, half green type of thing.
Right.
And so like the fandom is mixed and it's weird. So I loved going down there, but I also hated going down there. So it was like this really visceral like interaction with Eagles fans. But honestly, my first game of my career ever was against the Eagles. It was at home. It was the day after Princess Diana passed away. If you remember, back at the end of August of 1997, we played the Eagles, and I had a pretty good day in my rookie season, my first game. And then my last game ever happened to be the playoff game in 06. It was actually at the beginning of 07, and January of 07 was against the Eagles as well. Byron Westbrook rushed for 150 some yards and a touchdown.
It was a beast,
yeah. The game-winning field goal and beat us. But that ended up being basically my retirement game. And I remember after that game, Brian Dawkins came up to me and like he just sought me out and grabbed me and he turned me around and gave me a hug. He's like, "Bro, I'm gonna miss you. You were a warrior." And so it's like I hated playing against him because he was so good, but it's like this mutual respect.
Absolutely.
That I had with Philly, even though they hated me. Luckily, a couple years later, they learned to hate my brother more when he closed down the bet, when he went 92 yards.
That was great.
And every time they talk to me about hating me, I'm like, but you hate my brother more. I promise you. Like, you know what? You're right. And I remember Jeffrey Lurie came into that press conference after that last playoff game, and he said all these glowing things about me. So I have a respect and hate, love, whatever. It's just this weird relationship. I love Philly more than I love Dallas. Playing in Philly more than I love Dallas. My favorite moment it's easy. I mean, I had a lot of great games in total, 5 200-yard games, but it was the one after Wellington Mara passed away that I'll never forget because, you know, it happened midweek and Ronnie Barnes, who was our head trainer, just went to the Ring of Honor with the New York Giants. I remember he called me on that Tuesday that we had off. It was an off day for us. And he said, the Mara family would like you to come up to Westchester so that you can see Wellington because he's literally on his deathbed. And so I drove up. I lived on the Upper East Side. I remember it was this like solitary ride. I'm thinking like, what am I going to say? What am I doing? And I get to their house and Jeremy Shockey is leaving because Jeremy was Wellington's favorite player and I was one of his favorite players as well. And so when I passed Jeremy, he's like, man, it's rough in there. Meaning everybody was just sad. Like you knew he was going to pass. And I remember going in, like the whole family was there. You know, there's like 11 kids and 42 grandkids. Like everybody was there. The whole Mara family was there. And it was just this eerie feeling. But I got a chance to go sit on his deathbed and thank him for making me a Giant and, you know, wish him blessings to his next coming. And then that week was rough, man. It was really rough. Because Wellington is an icon. And
absolutely.
We played Washington that weekend. His granddaughter, Kate Mara, who is an actress now, sang the national anthem. There was all these tributes all throughout the stadium. And the first play of the game, I had a 56 or 7-yard run down the left sideline. First play, you know, sprint 37 out the left side. Linebacker misread it, went inside. I split it down the sideline, but I get caught. And then we run this, like everything we ran worked. I had another long run down the other side. And then Timmy McDonald, one of his grandkids, came up to me on the sideline. He now works for the Giants in the scouting department. He said to me, dude, you're going to score a touchdown. You're going to keep getting caught, old man. And in the end of the third quarter, we're on like the 6-yard line. We run a draw. I end up jumping into the end zone. I score a touchdown. I get up, as I always do, and I blew a kiss. I'd always blow a kiss when I score a touchdown.
Right.
And I dropped the ball. And I remember turning around like immediately and grabbed that ball, ran it over to the sideline, and gave it to Timmy McDonald. And I said, Timmy, this is for you and your grandfather. Thank you for making me a Giant. This being here has changed my life.
That's
and
awesome.
That was my 211th yard, I think. And I took myself out of the game in the third quarter. And so it was, I mean, I could have rushed for 300 yards in that game. It came back to haunt me because that was my best season of my career. I rushed for 1,860 something yards.
Yeah.
And
wow.
The last game of that season was against the Raiders. You remember the Raiders game where I had the 95-yard touchdown?
95, yes. That
so
I remember. Yeah.
My boy, who's my brother from another mother, Sean Alexander, played for the Seattle Seahawks. He was in Virginia attending to a family issue and was not going to play in the last game of the season. Right? He was in Virginia. He's watching that game. He flies back. He starts in the game just so he can beat my rushing. So I finished in the rushing title that year because Sean Alexander saw me run 220 yards, 220 yards against Oakland. He's like, hell no, Tiki's not beating me.
That's that competitive side.
That year was the most memorable, but it was that Wellington game when we destroyed Washington. I mean, it was a blowout. It was 36-0. That was the game I remember most.
Awesome.
I want to go back to what you were talking about Wilmington. Before I do, Danny, let me hear it one time, brother.
Tiki, was an honor, my brother. Sneaky, good night, and let's go Giants. Ow, peace.
Appreciate you. So I want to go back to that. So when I came across a clip of you saying how much you hated the Dallas Cowboys, and this is before we became besties.
Yeah.
And I think I think you saw it because I know I tagged you on TikTok. Yeah. And I'm like, we got something in common. Damn. So that kind of broke the chink in my armor. Okay. Mm-hmm. And another thing, so going back to the Wilmington thing, there was some controversy with the Giants last year. Okay. Yeah. About the discrimination lawsuit.
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores, yes. And of course, me being, I mean, when we cross paths, there's three things you realize. I'm a loving father, I'm Black, and I'm a Giants fan. Okay. So of course I'm gonna get, oh, now your team is racist. Yeah, your team is racist. And you gave an emotional.
Yeah, I rarely get emotional.
Yeah,
I rarely do.
Yeah,
that's one of the few times you'll ever see me emotional.
Exactly, and that's why I remember that so vividly.
Yeah,
you gave, and I think Ant actually shared it with me.
Mm-hmm.
You gave a emotional speech.
Yeah, defense.
Defense. Yes, defense of
the John Mara and the Mara organization and what they mean. Because someone was trying to correlate. It was a caller, and he basically was saying it was my responsibility as a Black media member on WFAN, and of which there are not many, even though there are a couple now. Keith McPherson's on the evenings at WFAN as well. It was my responsibility to call the Giants out for being racist. And my point was that I was trying to make, I know it got lost in some of the emotion, was that's not my truth.
Right.
You might believe that because Brian Flores, who has zero relationship with the New York Giants, is proclaiming that in a litigious way. But that's not my truth. I know who the Giants are. I know who this organization is. I know both the Maras. I know the Tisch family as well. And they are not a racist organization, right? They may not have the best hiring practices because this is just success, and also because they've never had a minority head coach, but they're not a racist organization.
However, they've had a minority GM.
They had a minority GM before a lot of teams have had minority GMs. And if you want to complain about the Rooney Rule in coaching, fine. These billionaire owners are going to do what they want to do because they want to hire somebody that they're comfortable with, that they can relate to. But the Rooney Rule has crushed it with general managers. 8 years ago, I think there were 3, or maybe not even 3. Maybe there were 2. Now there's like 11. And so the minority general manager has truly made the leap. We even have a black president in Jason Wright with the Washington Commanders.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's changing organizationally, and I think it's going to continue to change. It's a little bit generational. I don't want to say it's going to take a generation for this to happen,
Right.
but it kind of might until there becomes more black leadership, more minority leadership. That's from general managers, presidents, etc. in football, and that's coming because you know what you're seeing now, Sneaky? You're seeing former athletes not just want to be coaches, right? They want to go be, executive. Adrian Wilson out with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
They want to go be executives. They want to be scouts, which leads to them being assistant general managers, which leads to them being, general
and
managers.
the Giants, they also appointed,
right?
They also appointed an assistant GM too, right?
What's that?
The Giants appointed or hired.
The Giants assistant general manager is black. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
and
it's coming.
The thing that I want to preach out there, obviously, of course, I do want more minorities in leadership and coaching roles and whatnot. But I mean, I want someone that's qualified.
Yeah.
That's the main kicker, because I don't want to just, because they are a representation of us, and I'm not going to teeter on this too long. I'll make it short. Yeah. But with them coming in, we want them to do well and be successful, and that's and I've had this conversation with many people, and when I get approached about the Giants and how that whole racist, I actually got offended. Yeah. Now, of course, my relationship and your relationship with the Maras is completely different. But however, I met John Mara on a couple occasions where he actually came to me, and and I met Tish on a couple of and I'm not saying that absolves him of anything, but but for me,
we don't want to
my experiences was great.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm going to lead off on. So
that's all you can talk to is your experience. And I was there for a decade, and I've never felt that ever. Hell, the one of the vice presidents, Ronnie Barnes, who I was talking about earlier, he's black, and he's been there.
Oh, that's right.
He's been there for like decades, and he goes back to the 70s.
Yes,
and he's been one of the first, black head trainers in the NFL.
And John said he took care of not only players but his family too.
Absolutely.
So, and let me ask you this real quick, and then I do have a couple more people, and we'll make it quick.
I got to bounce here in a second, though, Sneak.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah. Then we'll just while we do that, let me bring on Ant so he can.
Definitely.
With the Ring of Honor and getting your number retired, you're in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. And
is there? I mean, I know it sounds like a silly question. What's the difference between getting the number retired and you getting the name of honor? It's almost the same thing, right?
It is, but the Ring of Honor is all those folks who have done amazing, meaningful things for the organization. Getting your number retired means you've been iconic and you've hit records and you've brought championships and you've done things that aren't likely to be replicated in the organization.
Right.
And Michael Strahan and Eli are the latest two. I think Phil, his Phil.
He got his number.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's because he was one of those early championships, and the Giants, as you remember, they were a moribund franchise for a lot of years until they hired George Young, who after that Philadelphia Eagles Herman Edwards thing, and it changed everything. And you get your number retired when you've done things that aren't going to be replicated. Now, Eli's probably not going to be replicated, not for a long time. He played forever, right? He's top 10 in all the relevant passing categories in NFL history. Now, maybe that's because that's just a function of the game, how it's changed. But he also was probably the most clutch quarterback in the postseason of our generation. Meaning he got there, except for that one boat trip weekend. That stupid.
We're not going to talk about that. Yeah.
He got to the postseason and he performed, and you can't ever take that away from him.
And what you got for the man that you defended this whole time, and I will say on record, you were right.
I know. I'm always right. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Listen, Tiki's been my guy for years, so
Yes, I know.
I'm gonna defend him no matter how much you disliked him. Didn't matter.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Ant.
Absolutely. I've always had this question on my mind, Tiki, and I think you're one of the people that can definitely answer it. Now, I was a big Jeremy Shockey fan. How much animal was that guy?
Crazy.
Really?
Absolutely insane. But that's what made him great. Think about the most maniacal defensive player you can think of. You never see those guys on offense, like ever, right? Guys that just have like hate, like they just want to hurt you.
Yeah.
You never see that on offense, ever.
Yeah.
That was Jeremy Shockey.
One of my favorite. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said we knew it from the very beginning. Like his first training camp, he's in there fighting Brandon B. Short because he wants to, tell us your, signing bonus and sing your alma mater. Jeremy's like, F you. He's a rookie, dude. So he was amazing. And he came off as like brash, but he really just wanted to win. And, at the end, he became that, token diva receiver. He only wants the ball, but it wasn't that. He just wanted to win, man. And the reason he got hurt is because they would ask him, Coach Pope, who was our tight end coach, one of the great position coaches in NFL history, because of what he did when he was in Washington with their counter trade. Remember the counter trade in Washington? That was all Coach Pope. When he came to us, we had all that misdirection stuff and what he called Dickum plays, get them thinking one way and we're coming out the backside. That was all Coach Pope. But it required a tight end to be a tackle also. Mm-hmm. So Jeremy you'd ask him to go block, the three technique. Guess what? He's going in there and smashing the three technique. And not a lot of tight ends are going to do that, right? Travis Kelce's not doing that. Like he might put his body in the way, but he's not going in. He's not getting in the muck, right? Yeah. And so he ended up getting hurt a lot. But Shockey was my dude, man. I love that guy. Like if you were going to a fight and you needed Jeremy Shockey was because he's intimidating and he's never quitting. I mean, there were games where he wouldn't get enough catches. He'd go work out. Like he literally would go into the gym and like start crushing iron, like squat and shit. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
He is someone I'm definitely trying to get out on the show. Yeah. And you're talking about being a winner.
I'll connect you with him, Sneaky.
Say again?
I'll connect you with him.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. Well, there's a picture of with Shockey. I'm not going to assume that it's his wife or his girlfriend, but it is a female's hand, and in each finger it has a state, like I think a state championship, his national championship, his 2 Super Bowl rings, and another Miami ring. Yeah, I'm like, good God.
Yeah, he had a really successful career. Nobody talks about it. He made a ton of money. Nobody thinks about it, but he did really well.
Yeah,
and what he did with the Saints and how he won his second Super Bowl, and because the first one in 2007, I think he was injured that year.
Yeah, he didn't play. He was in the box. He wasn't even on the sideline.
Yeah, and on this one he won it. He was like, I was really excited for him, and he was one of the reasons why I went. And I know you got to go. And guys, those that are on here that have yet to ask a question for Tiki, I do apologize.
Yeah, I'll come back.
We'll do this again, and I want to leave you.
I got one more super important question for Tiki, and only Tiki can answer this.
Go ahead.
It's going to depend on whether I watch this or not this year. Are you on the Housewives this year?
We are not.
Oh,
killing me. God. I can officially say I never watched one of those. Good. I think we talked about that. I think we talked about that, and it wasn't because of how I felt. I just could never get into that.
My wife watches it, and
you know why, Ant? You know why? My wife is too nice. My wife is way too nice, and they wanted her to be like mean and like vicious and like backstabbing, and she was like, "Why?"
Yeah, right? Good question. Why? So you and I and Ant. Well, no, Ant, you said you hate Philly more so.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I will say with this, and I'll leave you with this, and I want you to remember this. Moving on. Going on to your show and take from tonight.
I love BT, by the way.
He's the man.
He is.
Who's BT?
My co-host.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. First of all, I never wanted to fight you. There was no way in hell when he said, "What, do you want to fight you?" No, one gonna. No. I have a hashtag that I'm very faithful of, and I put this on all my stuff.
Love
The
it.
Dallas Cowboy fan base say they have 5 Super Bowls, which is true. They do. But we have 8 world championships. So I want you to remember that. And I always hashtag count all 8.
I like
and I want you to remember that. If anything, count all 8. You got to count all 8.
You know it, brother. Hey, Ant, good to see you again, bro. Nikki, I'll holler at you, and I'm going to connect you with Shockey because he'll be fun on here.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, before I let you go, let me hear it one time, Tiki.
Let's go, Giants. Out.
I appreciate you, brother. Be good. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you soon, bro.
All right, man. Guys, I'm sorry. He was actually only supposed to be on for about 45 minutes, and we went over. So,
That just shows,
say what?
that just shows you the kind of guy he is.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to push it on him and, add more time. So when he said he had to dip out, I'm like, okay, all is good. And just so you guys are aware, I don't know if y'all saw the post or not, but it legitimately went down. Like he said, okay, 3 hours before the show. So I got to give him his flowers and his props. If you guys want to be mad at me, please do. But just know I didn't do it on purpose. And the next time he comes on, Braxy, Mike, who else was on there? There was a couple other people too. Stanton, I didn't see you on here. Art, you want to talk to him too? I'm sorry, Art. I wanted to go through all the and those that are not Giant fans, I wanted to get as many Giant fans through as possible. So hopefully the next time he comes, I will definitely bring you on and you guys will have the first go. Okay. Again, I apologize.
I will tell you this. If he does hook you up with Jeremy Shockey, I just want you to know that I'm going to be a little schoolgirl. You want to talk about starstruck? You got to remember now, Jeremy Shockey is my favorite Giant of all time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I love Jeremy.
Wait, Shockey. I think you did tell me that. I think you did. I
love Jeremy Shockey.
You want to hang out a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here.
Okay. All right. Carson.
What's up, man?
So guys, oh wait, hold on. Let me take this banner off real quick. Hold on.
It's all right if I didn't get to. I would have rather talk to a Panthers player, to be honest.
Well, I know. But so guys, and Carson, thank you for accepting my apology.
To be honest, I feel like I was kind of in the wrong. I know I was in here a long time last time, but I mean, I think you got to get a lot of people in here, and I feel like I was in the wrong right there.
You know what? That's why you're a good dude. Because I was about to apologize to you. Okay, look, but I'm still going to apologize to you. Okay. So guys, those that watch the show and those that are on in the backstage, listen, I just want you to know something. If you don't come on the show, I don't do it on purpose. I have nothing against you. Like you said, I do have a lot of people. I have a great problem, and that problem is because of you guys, and I thank you for this problem, and that's why I will be extremely apologetic to everybody that comes on that don't get to come on unless you're Positive Philly, because I don't give a damn if you can. Let me stop. I'm kidding, Mike. I'm kidding. Jokes, all love. He probably has it mute anyway, but seriously, those that come on in the back. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the link out again right now. Those we got about, what is it?
You know, my favorite thing about Tiki is he actually remembers me. I feel like a little weird.
Well, because he remembered you from the thing, right?
Yeah.
And then because I told him that you defended me or you defended him. And I was like, I gotta call Ant. You're the first person that came out. I gotta let him know.
Still, to me, that's still the most shocking phone call. I mean, I could have gotten phone calls about, and God rest his soul, but I could have got the phone call I did about my father passing away, and the Tiki call was more shocking.
God, don't say that.
I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm not even kidding. When
Danny, Carson is definitely my guy.
Thank you for actually bringing that point up, because another reason I want to come on is because my grandma, I'm gonna try not to cry right here.
Okay.
But my grandma is not doing good right now. She
Guys, if you can send a prayer to Carson and his family.
Thank you.
Um,
her sodium is very low. Her potassium is very low. Oh gosh.
It's okay, man. Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
I'm sorry.
Don't
No,
be
you're
sorry.
Good.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
They found her this morning. They had to take EMS to her house, and she was laying on the ground, and she couldn't get up.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much longer she's gonna last, but I don't want to lose her, Sneaky. I really don't.
I know. Hey, man, I just want you to know something right now, okay? That I can't tell you how much your friendship means to me. I still remember the first time you reached out to me and you came on the show, and you've been such a light to the show. And when Broad brought it to my attention that that you were a little perturbed, I'm like, oh, I got to reach out to him. That's my guy. You're one of the OGs, and I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I got so much love for you and your family and your mom, and you already know this, and we are here for you. We will be the distraction you need from anything you need.
I appreciate that.
Who else is going to be my lucky charm during the Knicks playoff run?
Right?
I tell you what, the Hornets ain't making it for a long time, so I got you for somebody.
That being said, Carson, I got a joke for you.
Okay.
So how does a gynecologist perform his job?
No tell.
And how does a gynecologist perform his job?
I don't know. Go ahead.
He read lips.
Oh my God. If anybody laughed at that, you're going to hell.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are.
I could have said Braille. That'd have been even worse.
Well, that would have been. But then again, I'm a sick individual, so.
Oh God.
Oh.
He read lips. And those that don't get it, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to let that. I'm going to let it just float in the air.
He's going to
just,
let it, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm going to let it air out. Yep.
You're lucky this is a PG show.
Well, right now it's rated R. It just got rated R. Oh my God. And Braxy just said I'm 13, and I understand that.
What?
How could you understand that? We got some talking to do. He reads lips.
Hammer just
anyway.
Walked.
I hope your grandmother gets well. I really do.
Too. I mean,
me too.
We think she's in the early stages of dementia.
Gotcha.
I mean, she's not doing good. But like I said, any thoughts and prayers you have is well appreciated.
And I want to tell you something. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm right or wrong, that you grew up with your grandma.
Yeah, I'm totally mom's side of the family is where my heart is, to be honest. Okay. I love my dad's side of the family, but mom's side is where I've cherished the most memories.
So, and I want to tell you that I want you to also think about and kind of look at it at a different perspective. I never met my grandparents. I mean, I knew my grandma on my dad's side in the later stages of her life. Never met my mom's grandparents. So you have something that I don't. You have the memories of your grandma, and I'm assuming your grandpa too, right?
Yeah. He passed away from cancer in 2017, but that man, he would give you the shirt off his back if you needed him. He'd be right there, and he worked till the day he died.
And you know the beauty of that? I see a lot of him in you. A lot of him. And I don't even know the man.
That is very. He's probably the hardest working man I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was amazing.
Well, I'm gonna let you know we are all here for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
and hey, it's been a long
this is
time
your-
since I've seen you, Ant. What's going on?
And he got a nice haircut too.
Yeah, things are working their way back around. I don't know if you knew, my old laptop died. That's why I stopped doing my show for a while. And for Christmas,
I heard. When are you thinking about starting it back? If you are,
I was gonna do it about a week and a half ago, but my in-laws are here because healthcare in Puerto Rico is not great, and unfortunately, my father-in-law is going through the same thing your grandmother's going through with the dementia.
Yeah.
And they're working on them now. So to be here, it's better for them. The healthcare is better here. So they're here now. And unfortunately, they are in the guest room, which is where I was doing my shows. So I'm working right now on trying to get the garage set up so that could be my like office / showroom.
Yeah.
But I do have a laptop. My wife and kids got me a MacBook Pro for Christmas. So I'm definitely coming back.
All right.
So.
And is Kellamore going to be your OC?
Huh?
Kellamore.
No. To be honest, I think unless we hire somebody in the coming month, I think Frank Reich's going to do it all.
Yeah, I think it is Frank Reich.
Yeah.
But where did Kellamore go?
He went.
I actually forgot where he went.
Did,
somebody? Oh, what did he say? Someone said Rams.
Did he?
Chargers. That's right. Chargers.
That's right.
Yes, that's Chargers. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. That's right. That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
And they hired him like that day he got fired.
Well, I think they already had, but they already had in the works. But we both know that that's just a timetable for McCarthy now. That's all it is.
Oh yeah.
So, but Carson, I do gotta, let you go. But thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for sharing that with us.
I like to be open about that stuff. People like to hide that, but I mean,
it helps.
I'm like you, Dan. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to say how it is, and if I want to get something off my chest, I'm going to get it off.
Absolutely.
Well, for me, I think the toughest show I ever done was when my dad passed on that Tuesday. That whole time, it was hard for me to not just burst out in tears.
Yeah.
So that's why when I brought it up, and the sad thing about life is death. And both of my parents are gone. I miss them every fucking day.
Yeah.
And it's a sad, and what I realize is it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm an orphan right now. But what I do get emotional when I talk about it, but at the same time, I remember all the good times that we shared, and then I just think of how much of an asshole my dad was, and it just makes me feel so much better about the whole thing.
I'll tell you what, though, honestly, I wish I could be like you guys, and it's not that I don't want to be emotional like you guys get. So I don't think my childhood was any harder than anybody else, but I grew up with a tough childhood, and I think it made me so tough that's why I have the mental issues I have today. And like, it's hard for me to, like, my mom passed a few years ago. I still haven't grieved her like a normal person would.
My mom's still grieving my grandpa.
Yeah,
it's just not in my DNA. It's just, and at least my line anyway. Like my sister and my brother, they get emotional. I just don't do it. I can't, and I don't know why. It's not like I don't want to. It just doesn't happen. It never happens for me.
And Carson, you got some more love coming your way, bro.
I appreciate it.
Danny got a question for you. So Danny said, who do you want to draft, a QB or trade for one? Do you want to draft for QB or do you want to trade for one? What do you want?
I want to draft. I mean, unless we somehow trade for Aaron Rodgers, I don't see that happening. But I want to draft CJ Stroud.
That's who I think.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I hope to see you Tuesday. Let me know if you need a joke. I'll try and have one at the ready. Until then, let me hear it one time.
Thanks for having me on. Glad I got to get off that off my chest. Glad I got to
yeah.
speak to both of you. And let's go Giants. Oh,
I appreciate
Love
you,
you,
brother.
see you.
Yeah, I love you, Carson. Be good. I kind of needed that. I kind of needed that. Hold on. Where's Tiki at? He was on earlier. He was on earlier. Actually, he got off about 10, 15 minutes ago. You can always go back, go to YouTube, go to my YouTube channel, SneakyG Man, and just play it back from the beginning. All right, so here we go. Let me go down the line. So I'm just gonna go down the row, no specific order, right? Mike.
Yo.
I'm sorry I couldn't get you on with Tiki.
All right.
I got you next time, okay?
All right, it's all right. It's all right.
Hey, Mike. What's wrong with Big Blue Ant, man? I mean, how much better does it get?
Oh no, man. Hey, we watched the together.
You're right. He's my special guest. Just no helmet or spit guard. That's
He's peace, baby.
So what you got, Mike? What's the word?
Oh, I mean, Ann was talking about the Knicks. I mean, they won today. We always when I do my post game when the Knicks win, I always say bing bong. Hopefully they're gonna do great. I mean,
bing bong.
Bing bong. Yeah.
I love that guy. I swear to God.
Yeah.
What does he say? He always say, why you talking to me with your what does he say? He always clowns people. He's like, why are you always talking to me?
I think there's some
your...
cuts with yeah, but we can't play. I think there's some.
But anyway, anyway. So what you got? What's the word?
No. Hey. Man. I'm getting concerned about Barkley. I mean, the negotiations. I mean, I feel confident he's gonna stay, but I mean, it's getting concerning. I mean, I know Barkley's gonna be loyal, but
you know it's funny, but it's not funny. It's one of the things I wanted to bring up with Tiki, but obviously his time was short. Next time he comes on, I want to bring it up to him. So I was looking at the rundown of skilled players and how they're paid by position. Did you know that the running back is the lowest paid? And to me, that's shocking because they're the skilled player with the least time, life expectancy in football. You think they'd be paid a lot more?
Right. Yeah, I mean they only get like 16 mil.
The average
they're paid more than or less than wide receivers, but wide receivers go across the middle, they get hit. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird,
we could see the CMC route. We could see the CMC route. Yeah, he got the contract, and he was hurt. He was playing here and there. When he got traded to San Francisco, he just became another Barkley carrying the team. I mean, most carrying that team. Just hopefully we gotta get that. I mean, a good
Nims. Yes, Nims, that's right.
I'm telling you, I truly feel that Barkley's going to get paid next year. I think he's going to end up with the franchise tag because I think the Giants want to make sure that even though he had a really good season and he was healthy all season, they got to see that consistently back to back because you got to think about how his career was his first 4 to 5 years. So now they see it consistently. So I think the best bet would be to pay Daniel because I'm telling you right now, as much as it's just hard for me to grasp, and I love Daniel Jones now. Don't get me wrong; I'm definitely on the Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I mean,
but he's going to get $30 million a year. I just don't think he's going to get any less.
No.
So they're going to have to pay him, and if they do that, they're not going to be able to pay Saquon, at least not this year. Because if they do pay Saquon what he wants, where's that leave us? Not much money.
Well, and also think of it this way: the reason why I believe you're right, where they're going to pay Daniel Jones, maybe the $30 million. I don't see him making that much.
He doesn't
without even. No. I mean, without even I can't defend a $30 million paycheck because that's top tier quarterback money. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, he has a playoff win. Yes, he's starting to to grow in this system. But even if we franchise tag him, that's still $32 million.
Yeah. And that's
just 1 year.
And that's the same thing I said about Saquon. With Daniel Jones, I have the same, attitude. It's like, all right, you had a really good season this year. Let's see it again next year. So that's why it's hard. That's why I mean, honestly, if you could, I think they would franchise tag both of them.
If you could, oh yeah.
Just saying, if we lose Barkley, I mean, it's not like we're gonna get hurt. I mean, it's not like we're gonna get hurt out of it.
No.
Of course, we're gonna miss, a good running back, but it's not gonna hurt us at the end, really.
I got a feeling Leonard Williams is not going to take a pay cut, although he said he would consider it. That doesn't, and a lot of people took that as, he's going to take a pay cut.
It's all talk. I mean, it's all talk.
Well, look, with that, I would rather just wait and see, because the fact that he said he would consider it, that doesn't mean he would do it, but he would consider it. But at the same time, how they would, and I'm guessing, right? I'm hoping this is how it works in my world. They would still pay him the same amount, but it'll probably come in incentives or a different bonus type,
probably stretch it out,
packages or something.
Yeah, I think they would it out.
Stretch out the money.
But hey, Mike, I appreciate you, brother. I hope to see you Tuesday. Let me hear it one time, man.
All right, let's go Giants. And hold on.
Appreciate you. I just want to hear "Let's Go Giants." Got a lot of love for you, Mike. Art, what's up, man?
I get it. I mean, you hear me okay?
I hear you great. Yes, sir.
I mean, I get it. Why would you want to have a Bears fan on who kicks everybody's ass in tribute to talk to Tiki Barber? I get it. I get it.
He did say that Sweetness was his favorite running back. So
I know, and we could have talked about that, but no.
I got you next time, Art. I promise.
How dare you, sir? What's up, man?
What's going on in your world?
Oh, I'm just staying inside because there's a bunch of ice outside.
Oh my God, I know. It's crazy.
Not that I couldn't handle it. I don't know.
So today we left the house. So those that don't know, Dallas, we had a severe ice storm the last couple of days. I know I spoke about it a little bit on Tuesday. And I haven't been to work since Monday. And we actually left the house today very cautiously because, family got on my nerves. I'm just gonna be honest. That's kind of why we had to. So, we did a little mental walk. There was a mall right down the street from the house, very safe, but there is a lot. What the hell am I talking about? There is a lot of ice still on the sidewalks, on the roads. And
I mean, I'm not afraid of it because I'm from here, but as you see, my little Ferrari is not really built for ice. I don't think it will work out too well.
You got to get the spikes on the tires.
I don't think those tires are big enough.
I know, right?
It's pretty low to the ground.
Yeah,
and it's funny you say that. We were talking about it when we were having lunch today. We were talking like how Denver, Colorado, like if this were to happen, you're going to work. You're still
it's nothing. It's literally nothing.
Yeah,
it is nothing.
Because they're like, I just put chains on your cars. So when you said that, you just put chains on your cars. And then,
well, that's illegal. That's illegal here. Well, I don't know. I don't think it is in PA, but I know in New Jersey, it's illegal to have chains on your tires.
Oh, and there was somewhere in New Jersey I wanted to tell you about that somebody said you don't want to live there, but if you did, you'd live in this area. I'll have to think about that town. But anyway, so what you got? What's on your mind? All right, how you doing?
Doing all right. I'm bored. I haven't been out of the house in almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Since I got.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make that donut video today? Where you went to get donuts? Was that today?
Oh, no. That was actually, I think, last Thursday.
Because it freaked me out. Because it looks like you're going to the hospital. You're all quiet and you look all drugged out. And you got soft music playing.
I just woke up.
Sneaky's going to the hospital. There's like all these harsh flips. I responded to it, by the way. I responded to it.
Oh, okay.
There's all these harsh lights everywhere. He's like, I'm here with Mama Boss. I'm really tired. We're waiting. And he shows donuts. I'm like, you son of a bitch. That was actually done a couple of weeks. I think it was the week of Nick's birthday. Okay.
And it's a new donut shop here in Louisville, Flower Mound, because that's where I'm closer to.
Okay.
And Capel, Louisville, Flower Mound,
right,
Dallas area. Mm-hmm. And we just went and picked up donuts, and she wanted to try the new spot. and I was still half. That was before I even had a sip of coffee.
You have to see this if you haven't seen it, and it's scary because he looks like he's about to die. You're gonna strap him to a table and wheel him off. It's just
I believe it.
Even the shower couldn't wake me up that morning. I was just so tired
and
because we got up early that day because Art and y'all know getting old, you gotta piss at night, and I'm thinking I woke up, I had to take a piss, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and it was like
50's coming. I mean, Ant's already there, but I'm right behind him. 50's
and I'm right behind you both. So it was funny, but Art, I gotta let you go. Before I do, what do you got on your mind, man, about your team? What's going on?
There's all the still. No, they're talking about trading Justin Fields again, but I know they're not going to do it. They're bluffing. They're bluffing.
They'd be stupid to do it. They got to build around him.
What I think they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and bring all these quarterbacks in, so all the other teams are forced to watch, and that's going to drive up the trade value for the number one pick.
Yeah.
Like how bad you want it. How bad you want it. I think that's what they're doing.
That's
which is the smartest thing they've ever done because they've done with rocks.
Yeah.
The closer we get to the draft, I definitely want to get your insight on what you think the Bears should do with the number one pick.
Absolutely. All I know is if they get rid of my boy, I'm going to riot.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine them getting rid. I mean, especially the season that he had this year.
No, they have to start all over again to get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why?
And I'll tell you, Fields is a damn good quarterback because I had him on my fantasy team.
He's a voice factor.
Championship. So
yeah,
that's my guy. But Art, I hope to see you Tuesday. Let me hear it one time, man.
Let's go Giants! Ow!
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did the wrong one. I'm sorry, Ant. My bad. You gotta love live. You gotta love live. You gotta love it.
I think you did that on purpose.
I can't believe I did that. Positive Philly.
God. Negative Nelly, where you at? He must be in the bathroom dropping a deuce. Uh-oh. Did you guys just freeze up?
No, I'm here. No, I'm good. I'm just trying to hear. I think he might be sleeping.
Really? Boost the volume.
I can't.
Damn it. Too bad everybody's sleeping here. I scream into the mic.
You hear that though? Listen. I think he's sleeping. Yeah, Danny. Yep, I think that is him snoring.
That's awesome.
Sold. All right, that's enough. Braxy.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, I love it. Hey, you did not get that word from me. So you did not get that word from, and I'm sorry that I did not get you on with Tiki.
No, it's all right.
I got you next time. Okay.
I'm playing the show back just for that moment.
Say what?
I'm gonna replay that moment over and over again after.
Oh my God, me too. Oh shit.
I'm just playing mad at you. I look at my screen.
That was so classic.
It's almost like a kid getting caught in his bedroom by his mother, if you know what I
mean.
Right.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, hand caught in a cookie jar.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Braxy, what's up, man?
Nothing much.
Now that your heart is back in your chest, what's going on in your world?
I've never really told anyone this, because it seems like I'm bragging every time I say this, but my uncle is in the NFL right now, currently playing on my mom's side, and I don't really talk much about it because it seems like I'm bragging every time I say it, but
you know what? Hell, brag about it. What's his name?
About it.
You're not gonna believe me, but it's Taysom Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. People are like, no, he's a shit player. He plays every single position. Shut the fuck up. He's in the NFL.
Oh my God. You did not learn this from me. You did not learn any of these words
No, I
from
know.
me. Okay, good. Who'd you learn them from?
TV.
Oh, damn. I wanted you to be like Mom, Dad, Uncle Joe, but
My goodness.
For the record, I do not condone any of these language. Anyway.
About that, I mean, the closest I've gotten to that is I've played against an NFL player, a former Pro Bowler, if you will. That's as close as I get. You actually have a blood relative.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's cool, but like sometimes, like on Thanksgiving, the Saints have played on Thanksgiving plenty of times,
right?
A few times, I believe. So like, it's same with Christmas too. Like we don't really see, we only see him around like April and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever want him to come on the show, we'd love to have him.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll try. He did,
and if he doesn't come, no harm, no foul. But if he becomes a giant, he has to come on. That's a prerequisite.
Yeah, that'd be cool because I always said to him like, "Yo, the Giants, man."
You're a recruiter.
Play any position.
You are. You're awesome,
I
dude.
could recruit.
So okay, it's been a while since we spoke. Okay.
Hot minute.
How do you feel about this season of the football Giants?
Way better than last year.
Facts.
The last 4 games last year, I didn't even turn on the TV because it was horrible.
Oh.
I couldn't even watch it.
Braxton, you got a question. Do you actually get a chance to talk to him from time to time?
Only like FaceTime sometimes, not like an everyday thing. Only maybe during the off season. Hey, Aunt.
I hate you. We're not anymore. Especially now that the Giants season's over.
So today I'm still a kid, of course, a teenager now. But at recess, I threw for 4 passing touchdowns.
Nice.
Okay.
In my Crocs, bro.
In his Crocs.
You wait, what?
I threw for 4 passing touchdowns in my Crocs.
The shoes, the Crocs.
Yeah.
They're like sandals.
Like, oh, wait. Okay. All right. I was like, wait, what? So you threw 4 passing touchdowns in your Crocs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know where that was going. I was like, what?
You're quarterback.
Like, what? Okay. I'm glad we got that taken care of. Well, good deal. You got to start somewhere.
That's his way of saying he don't sweat the competition.
No, I'm just that's what I'm saying. Sneaky. No, I thought he said he threw 4 passing touchdowns from his crotch. I'm like, how did you throw the ball between your legs? I swear to God, I'm not trying to be funny.
I was a center. So
there you go. There you go. And someone said wrong show. No, I'm just being honest. Like, anyway, we're gonna move on from that. We're just gonna
a little bit.
Well, Braxy, I appreciate you. I hope to see you Tuesday. And I know you come on sometimes, and I don't get a chance to get you on. I'm glad I got you on tonight.
Yeah.
Let me hear it one time, brother.
Let's go, Giants. Ow.
I appreciate you, brother. Be good. Wow. Dash, what's up, man?
Hey, man. There need to be 2 shows, one PG and one 18 plus.
I guess so.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's all. I'm good, man. Hanging in there.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see the news about Kellen Moore being hired on to the Chargers, so that's something. But I do want to talk about because I don't know if you saw my TikTok about my opinion for Kellen Moore, but honestly, for me, I wanted to keep him 1 more year.
Okay.
And in my TikTok video, I put a reason saying if I was in Jerry Jones' shoes, in his spot, I would have given him 1 more year and with Jerry Jones saying now Mike McCarthy is going to be the one calling the plays, I wanted to see, okay, maybe now Mike McCarthy can call, but if within the half through the season, if he's making terrible calls, then switch over to Kellen Moore, and then, or if that doesn't happen, have them work together and see which plays can be the best.
You know, I can honestly see how that whole conversation went through with McCarthy, Stephen Jones, and Jerry. Jerry basically picked McCarthy over Kellen.
Yeah.
I want to say that McCarthy or Jones asked McCarthy, what can we do to make this team better? McCarthy immediately threw him under the bus.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. But now what that does put a timetable on McCarthy. When McCarthy first got hired, I know I'm a broken record, but he was on that show here in Dallas talking about, the buck stops here. We're going to have my staff, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then the next day, Kellen Moore is retained as the offensive coordinator per Jerry Jones. So that obviously that did not happen. Okay. McCarthy loves control, which I don't blame him. He's a coach. Anything that goes bad, it's on him. It's not on Jerry. It's on him. The only reason why they go to Jerry is to see when he's going to fire him. That's the only time they ever bring up Jerry. Okay. But now the fact that McCarthy has full reign, right? I believe in this year's draft, he's going to put more input. And I'm not saying he didn't before. I'm just saying he's going to have, he's not going to get keys to the car, but he's going to get keys to the house, if you will.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and if you look at Kellen Moore's ranking for offense of the Cowboys, by just ignoring the 2020 season, the rest of the time being, he put the Cowboys offense in the top 10 range.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Number one too. I think last year was number one, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Oh. Well, Dash. And I did read your comment about how we used to hang around in the end. Yeah. Normally, I would do that, but because I go to work right after the show, or I go to work the next morning, I normally don't stick around like we did before. Yeah. But before I let you go, I do appreciate the time that we share on the show, and I'm glad that you are definitely. I would definitely consider you one of the OGs. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure, yeah.
But until next time, let me hear it one time.
First, I just want to say sorry for what I'm hearing for Caroline Carson. Hopefully, your grandma is doing a lot better. And let's go Giants out.
Appreciate you, man. Be good. Brayden.
Yo, what's going up, boys?
Yo, it's been a minute, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I've been kind of out of the loop with all this Giants stuff. I've been working so fucking much, but
yeah, no worries. I'll tell you what, I had Tiki Barber on earlier.
Yeah, I saw that. That's amazing. I listen to his show every day.
Well, good. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Next time he comes on, man, try and get on, and I'll make sure that you get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, I just missed him. I went on to the stream and he was leaving. I was like, whatever.
Well, I appreciate you. Now, so we were talking about Jones. We got like 3 minutes. Oh shoot, we got like less than 2 minutes before the show ends. Your thoughts, real quick. Daniel Jones, Barkley, tag or pay who? What do you got?
With all the quarterbacks that are, around and can go basically anywhere they want, I think we give Barkley his money. I don't know about. I'm still not sold on Jones yet. I'll be honest with you because, he has a good year, but
now the same can be said about Barkley. Now we can say that Barkley already had. His rookie year and this year.
Everybody knew Barkley coming out of college was going to be great, but I don't know. I thought everybody was on the Jones train, but recently I've been hearing like we should get Carr or Rodgers or Stroud. I've been hearing all this stuff, and I'm like,
it's not gonna
is that us or the Jets?
I got to be the Jets.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Carr is not going to be successful in the New York market at all. He's not going to want to run the ball.
Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Jets.
Yeah, he's going to go to the Jets. Maybe like
I think he might go to the is it the Raiders?
No.
Didn't they
the Raiders wanted
the only reason the Raiders being brought up is because it'd be a reunite of him and Devontae Adams.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Raiden, I hate to cut this short. But I hope to see you Tuesday, man, if you get a chance.
Yeah, Tuesday I should be around.
Perfect. Let me hear it one time, man.
Let's go Giants. Ow.
Appreciate you.
Later, Brain.
And always pleasure. I'm so glad that you were able to come on and we got to share the stage with another Giant great.
Absolutely.
Let me hear it one time, man.
The one thing is, we can now call him a friend of ours.
Yes, we can. Although I can honestly say he's my best friend. We're besties. It even came out of his mouth, you know.
You know what? I'll let you have that one.
Let me hear it one time, man.
Let's go Giants. Ow! Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Be good. Guys, I don't know what to say. Freaking phenomenal show. Thank you to everyone that came on and wanted to spend some time with Tiki. This was I can't even put into words. Amazing. I want to thank Tiki for taking the time out of his day on the spare of the moment, by the way, to come on the show and to bless the show in the way that he did. He took the time to again to hear me apologize and to take questions from you guys. That this was an amazing night. And I see someone where they say we need Eli on the next show. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, we got to start manifesting it, because when you manifest something, it comes true. Believe me, I'm a product of it. Everything I've done right now, you just got to believe in it, and it's going to happen. Because like Strahan said, if you believe it, it will happen. Let's go Giants. Ow! Okay, wait, what the hell? I guess I need to believe on the right timing on how to end the show, right? Let's go Giants. Ow!
Is this thing on?
It's your boy Stefan, a.k.a. SneakyG.
Yeah. Lyrical assassin.
Let's go Giants.